Request.
Hi, everybody. We're still waiting for committee members to show up, and then we will start the meeting. There, yeah.
No. There you go.
So, okay, now.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. We're still waiting for some people to come in. So, please give us some time, give us a few minutes, and we'll loop back in. Thank you for your patience. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I just turned off the microphone.
Okay, now, there's no,
All that I like did over here. Like I could do backup on notes, but I don't feel like I'm like the greatest at it.
no worries. I'm not understanding, just trying to figure out.
Ah, are you okay?
I will be.
Okay.
The deal is that you get to watch something. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want it.
Why am I not, I'm trying to, I'm better at seeing everybody. We got 7 pounds. How do I get to see, what view do I have to view? I want gallery view, because I want to see everybody.
I think it's like speaker view. And then you probably like hit this thing.
Mhm.
Oh, wait, no. Yeah, it should be speaker view.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then everyone, when you hit one of these, you hit that button. And then that thing's like supposed to go up, but that looks like that's like someone's like doing a presentation. Like, look, it shows up over here.
Oh, okay. That's so weird, because I don't see everybody on here.
Hit this one again.
Apologies, everybody, we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty. Stay tuned.
Alexis, Wayne is listed as a participant, an attendee. You should make him a panelist. Wayne Benjamin is there.
Yeah, I see that, Barbara. We gotta get something else fixed first before I worry about that.
Oh, Wayne is here.
Yeah,
Okay, welcome, everybody. Thank you for your patience while we figured out some technical difficulties. Our chair, Luana Ferrara, is not in today, so I, Alexis Marnell, as vice chair, will be running the meeting. It is 6:50 PM. Today's agenda includes our welcome, programming updates, parks report, and then new and old business. Motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Okay. So again, welcome. My apologies on behalf of Luana. She had a business commitment and was unable to make it. My name is Alexis Marnell. We'll just introduce ourselves very quickly. I have lived in this neighborhood since 2008, but grew up going to the Greek churches here. And I have been I was a public member for 5 years and have been the vice chair of this committee for the past 2. I work for Classical Theater of Harlem, and my background is rooted in arts and social justice. Danny?
Hi, my name is Daniel Bonilla. I am also a land use. I'm an artist. And welcome.
Hi, my name is Noemi Diaz. I am on youth and education, and I'm a parent in the community.
Nice. Look at that.
Hi, my name is Tracy McNeil. I'm on Parks Committee. I'm also on the Bylaws Task Force as well as land use. Born and raised in this community. I have my weed boy in this community now too. Pleasure. Welcome, everyone.
Barbara. There you go.
My name is Barbara Frazier. I've been here on the community board now almost 9 years. I've lived in this community since 1972, which is longer than some of the members have, I think, been on this earth. And I have been on the Parks Committee all that time, and I've played a role in the important role in the development of our new park at the Dykeman Rest and in the development of the fountain feature at Ann Loftus, among other things, and other parts of our parks that have developed over the years. So let me say to that, and also in housing issues in our community. So enough for that.
Okay, just, why to do it?
Barbara. You. Oh.
This is maybe.
Okay, there we go. Okay, just as a reminder, for those of you who are from friends of or cultural organizations, I am going to ask that, of course, you give your full presentation, but please email us your list of events that you are doing so that they can be properly transcribed into the minutes, because it is a lot to take down everything that you say and to include all your events. And to be fair, you know, just putting up your website and asking people to go to it in the minutes just isn't fair to anybody, and it also isn't fair to those of us who do the notes, mainly me. Please, you can email your events, a list of your events, a.marnell, M as in Mary, A, R as in Robert, N as in Nancy, E, L as in Larry, CB12 at Gmail, a.marnellcb12@gmail.com. And this way we can cut and paste your full list of events into the minutes. Okay. Also would like to remind everybody that is here. We are this is a volunteer position. We were we were nominated into this, or I should say elected into this by either Councilwoman Carmen De La Rosa or Mark Levine. We are community members just like you, and it is a volunteer position, and we ask that everybody be respectful of everyone's time and space and person.
Yeah.
Okay, having said all that, I know it's Yanni, is that how am I saying your name right? Ms. Gonzalez from Jazz Power? Are you here? Okay, did you leave us? Yes, Yanni, you ready to go?
Yes, hi, how are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No worries.
So I wanted to share, first of all, Jeff, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I wanted to share with all you that this week we're gonna have our Jazz Power initiatives, Jazz Power All Stars Birthday Blues, Bebop, and Boogaloo. In celebration of Ila Yemen's birthday, the Jazz Power All Stars play a celebratory mix of music that will blast open your imagination and make you want to dance. We're going to feature our own Dr. Ila Yemen with Michael Blake, James Soller, Jennifer Vincent, David Gibson, Jonathan Troncoso, Jay Black, Carmen Morillo, Sharon A. Wade, and Antoinette Montague. That's going to be on Wednesday, tomorrow at Alianza Dominicana Cultural Center, right there, from 7 to 9. And on Saturday, we're going to do it at National Jazz Museum in Harlem. So it's going to be really fun. I'm going to have the flyer ready for you if you want to share it around and pass it around. And for all of you, thank you so much for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up, we have Maeve Gately from Hudson River Community Sailing.
Hi, Alexis, can everybody hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Maeve Gately, we just had a couple of slides. So HRCS presented in June on our plans, and we just wanted to give a season recap. So it's at the end of sailing season, so not so much in advance, but we had so could you allow Maeve to just put up her?
We only have 1.5 minutes, so.
I hear you. It's easier to get the information for you to see visually, but is it possible to give her that status?
You're lucky I'm in a good mood today. Okay.
Okay. Well, you asked to come back at the end of the season so that's what we were trying to do.
Yes, just a
But
minute.
we'll be really quick.
I'll give him. I'll pause this time real fast.
Yeah.
For a little bit. Tracy.
All right.
There we
so
go.
90 seconds. I just want to be clear what our core.
Let's try not to.
Sorry, it's hard the background. So our core programs, we have 5 core programs, and so Maeve, can you go to the next slide? The 5 core programs, we just want to remind you, is Sail Academy. We work with 100 students year round in schools. We have our adaptives and our veterans program. We serve 225 people out of Dyckman Marina this year. We had our community days that we work closely with you on. We had over 250 residents go out on those this year. We have a membership of 500 between both locations, about 2,000 participation days at Dyckman. We run a summer camp and we run public lessons. So that's our core programs. That's what we did at Dyckman this summer. Our Sail Academy program is, I said, year round. Those are the 5 partner schools that we work with. We continue to build that out. And our students also get to take a summer trip as well out to Shelter Island as part of that program. So our adaptive program, again, served 225 students. We were featured, as was Dyckman Marina in the neighborhood, on PIX. We run a big event called Heroes on the Hudson with over 600 veterans. And those are our partners. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but your time is up.
Okay.
You have to go to the next person. We have a lot to do. A lot of people are here that have questions for other things, so we want to just be respectful of everybody. Okay. What do we have up next? Julie McCoy. Julie, where'd you go? Julie, can you hear me?
This is.
Julie?
Hello.
Hi,
Wait, hold on one second. Are you guys here for business or for parks?
yeah, that's the next one.
Hello, this is Julie McCoy from the Inwood Canoe Club. I'm the Commodore of the Inwood Canoe Club, basically the board president. As you all know, our public program season is over, except for the stuff that we can do on land. So I'm happy to report that since the last PCA meeting, we had a shoreline cleanup on October 27th. We had 8 volunteers turn out for an hour and a half. We filled 5 bags of trash, 2 buckets of glass and recyclables. We do have another shoreline cleanup scheduled on November 24th. Same hours, approximately 10 to 12 in that vicinity. Show up if you like. We provide the bags and the gloves and the pickup stuff, and we would be happy to have folks come by and enjoy seeing the Hudson River, even as we slide gently into winter. That's it for this month, and that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you so much. That
Thank
was
you.
timely. Okay. All right, okay, Stephanie Caban from Riverside Conservancy. Stephanie?
Hello. Hi, everyone. Sorry. Stephanie Gaban here from Riverside Park Conservancy. I'm the North Park Outreach Coordinator from 120th to 181st Street, which encompasses just the southern portion of Fort Washington Park. Just want to share some good news and a super big thank you to the Parks Department and to Carmen de la Rosa's office for securing $500,000 for the restoration of the Fort Washington Park tennis courts. This will go towards restoring and resurfacing the courts to a much better condition, as well as fixing the broken water fountain. So just want to share a big thank you and just give that update to the community about the Fort Washington tennis courts. So thank you again to the Parks Department and De La Rosa's office.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Sure.
yeah, that's short and sweet. Okay, I see, somebody from Larry Neal Dog Run is here. Do you need to give an update?
Hi, no update. We just wanted to say hello.
Well, I like that. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
And while we're here, do we have anything from the Morris Jumel Neighborhood Association? Sorry about that.
Nothing to report. Oh, yes. The Morris Jumel Neighborhood Association is having their annual Christmas meeting event. That it'll be December 4th at the Jumel Mansion. And normally starts at 6 o'clock, but I will send the flyer so it'll be appropriate in the meeting minutes.
Okay. She's a big wig on there, so she knows the deal.
Big wig.
Okay, and I have Mr. Han, is it? I know you had been wanting to speak about a project that you wanted to implement in parks.
Hi, how are you? Do you hear me? Do you hear me now?
Just give us 1 second, please. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna try unplugging it and plugging back
Let
in.
me, let's see. I don't know even know if it's on. It's-
Yeah.
It's just vibrating.
Unplug this thing? Say something.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But now
Do you hear me?
Yeah, but now we can't hear
From
you
the
now.
computer now or from the speaker?
This, oh, I think I hit.
No?
Yeah.
From the
hold on one
computer
second.
now.
Hold on. I think I hit a button by mistake.
Hello?
Well, this is-
Hold on.
I'm gonna go get Noemi.
When in doubt.
Noemi to the rescue.
When you are ready, let me know.
I
Yeah,
promise.
we will let you know. Speaker, see.
Was making a horrible noise. We tried to turn it off and then back on again, and now the sound is only coming out of the computer.
The owl cable might be the problem with everything.
it is.
Yeah, like just any slight movement will turn it off.
Correct.
It's kind of expected. One day.
I don't know where the host again. It's viewer speaker.
I'm like such a sucker for like all their burgers, you know. That's all I like. That's all I love.
I'm gonna spotlight this, so this is what everybody sees.
Okay.
Happening now.
All right, well, should we test the mic?
I think it works. I can check all my.
Someone say something.
Yeah, Mr. Han,
Yeah,
can you hear us?
yeah, I hear you. And then do you hear me?
Not
Yeah,
yet.
we hear him, but it's through the computer and not through that.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
I see you though.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, can you speak one more time?
Okay, I am here.
Thank you.
Oh, it works. Great. Thank you so much. And then thank you for letting me say something about our project. I am representing Korea Art Forum, and we are based in Inwood, far northern Manhattan. And we are trying to install 3 public art in December. So I have to apply the park, and it's in the process right now. And once the approval falls, then we will install public art on the peninsula area of the Inwood Hill Park. So back there where the baseball court is, and then the natural, what do you call it? Natural center in Inwood Hill Park. Do you know?
Yes.
Yeah, the museum. So near there, we're gonna use the fences and the lamp posts, and install some public art. Everything is two-dimensional, photographic images or real sculptural artwork. Yeah, and we will present next meeting. I think it's December 12th, right? The next meeting.
It's always the second Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, that's December 12th. So I would like to present it, and I'll bring all artists in this meeting so that they can share their ideas with you directly instead of me, in the middle, staying in the middleman, right? So you don't have the middleman next month, and then we have some slides, and then I would like to talk to Laura about it, how to do the presentation. Yes.
Okay. Have you spoken with anybody at Parks? Have you spoken with?
So he does.
You spoke to Jana Lessort?
I talked to Elizabeth.
Okay, so
What's the name of his organization?
Can you repeat the name of your organization again?
Korea Art Forum. Korea Art Forum.
Okay, thank you. So what you'll do is, you'll have your slide presentation. Please just, talk to Jana and make sure you have everything that you need to start the process. and email so that you can be put on the agenda for a presentation for next month.
Yeah. Is there any guideline for the agenda format, guideline for formatting the agendas, or you talked about that and I don't know, actually.
Okay, so what we do is we have an agenda, okay?
Yeah.
We have items on the agenda. If you would like if you want a spotlight on your issue,
Yeah.
we'll put you on the agenda and you will have more time than just in programming updates.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And to send it to you, right?
Actually, he sends it to,
To
he knows who to send it.
Yeah, because I heard him say that he already
He sent it to him, but he
submitted to.
He did, but
Parks.
it was too late, so he has to get on it for next week. And
Oh,
he has to,
okay.
and we also explained, Mr. Han, and we explained to him that he has to have his information from Parks, et cetera. Before he can bring it forth.
New art coming to Emerald Park.
Yeah, so we shall see. Okay, I don't believe there are any more.
Alexis, could I,
yeah.
is his presentation, is this in conjunction with some particular event or particular group?
From what I gather, it is an idea that it's Korean Arts Forum is something that they want to present to the park, so that they'll have to work with Janice, speak to her, and then take it from there. Barbara, you're muted again.
Okay, thank you. I just didn't understand what the process was. I understand now. Okay.
And Jamilia Sandoval from Carmen de la Rosa's office. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. You got
Just here to listen. Hi, Dan. Just here to listen.
All right.
Let me know if
I
you
guess
need
no
anything.
news is good news.
Yeah, no news. The only thing I would say is, and I know that Jana's on the call as well, is that we're hoping that the Fort Tryon Park's entrance on Arden will get the containerization bins before Thanksgiving. I'm hoping, because we've been this is something that we allocated funding to in June, and as we all know, the city is very slow in terms of their process. So we hope to get it before Thanksgiving because the community continues asking for an update on that area.
All right. Thank you, dear. Appreciate you as always.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Now, next we're going to have Jana Lasort. She's going to give us our updates on programming and capital projects. And Jana, there's also some folks that we have here live and in person who will have questions for you on certain projects. So just want to give you that heads up.
Hi there. Yes, absolutely. Quick note, I was just typing you in the chat. I keep getting kicked off. I don't know if it's by the wind. So if I get kicked off again, I will call in. But of course, then I'm an attendee, so I'll have to be leveled up. I'm gonna, I'm just gonna send this through the chat though. So would need to be unmuted in case I get kicked off again. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Nice to be here. Some updates on our side, as some folks may have heard, the entire city and state actually are having issues with fires. So we've had fires at High Bridge, we've had fires at Fort Tryon, we've had another fire today at High Bridge. Prospect Park burned, Palisades across the river was on fire very dramatically. So just a couple of notes there that to share if you can. You know, one of the things that has been causing some of these fires, we do believe, are cigarette butts. So there is actually no smoking in parks of anything. So please, if you can, spread the word that there is no smoking of anything at parks, also no grilling. And we are concerned as we maybe head into colder weather that some of our unhoused folks who try to set up camp in parks may also try to set fires. So with this very, very dry condition, it's alarming and concerning. So please be careful. And if you can't, spread the word. As Barbara said, and thank you, Barbara, Dyckman Rest and Bennett Park, we're closing in on some ribbon cutting dates for both of those as we work with the commissioner schedules. We had the substantial completion meeting today for Bennett Park. So we'll be having word on when we can, when we can take down the fencing. There's some work we still have to do once the contractor takes down the fencing, mostly just bench repair and painting as we get ready for a ribbon cutting to share with the community. So I'll definitely be letting the community board know about that once we have the dates set with the commissioners. We're excited because November 16th and 17th, this coming weekend, is It's My Park weekend. A huge thanks to the Friends of groups that are working so incredibly on those volunteer events with the community and with our great Partnership of Parks Outreach Coordinator, Carlos Acosta. So Bennett Park and J Hood are this Saturday at 9 o'clock, starting at 9. Wallenberg starts at 11. Special note on Wallenberg, because Word Up and Conectémonos have worked on this incredible event that will also honor Faith Ringgold at that event, Saturday at 11 o'clock. Sunday, we also have Fort Tryon Park and Juan Pablo Duarte. A note regarding Fort Tryon Park, in case people are interested, we always have second and fourth Saturdays for stewardship and volunteer days, and then the third Sunday, which can be found on the website, forttryonparktrust.org. And just a note there in terms of steward certification, if anybody's ever interested in being certified as a steward, we're very grateful. We keep seeing more and more people who want to be certified in tree care and shoreline care, trails care, invasive removal. So please reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat in case anybody's interested in being certified as a steward. Those are my main updates. Depending on my internet situation, Chair, I was also going to share a bit about Vital Parks.
About?
Vital Parks. It's
yeah.
So we can't use Zoom at parks. We are on Teams, so I cannot remember how to share screen. But
he gave us, your counterpart gave us that last month.
Oh, excellent. Good. Well, just a quick note there. Good. Because so a quick note that Vital Parks, and I'll actually put the link in the chat. I just want to note this because I think Chris said that he didn't have a chance to really go through it much, but I'm going to drop this link in the chat. Let's see here. Is this it? Here we go. And if people want to check this out who are online or there at the office, this link takes you to our Vital Parks, which is nyc.gov/parks. And then you can just Google Vital Parks. But this link right here goes directly to the Explorer. And what the Explorer does is Vital Parks, let me back up, is essentially a composite view of $3.2 billion that has been invested by the city, including elected officials, in our parks. And this map, if you click on that link, you'll see that Manhattan says 91%. So I just encourage people to tool around in this Vital Parks Explorer and all the different tabs that you'll find in this site. 91% indicates that in Upper Manhattan, we have a very good grade of park amenities, 91%. You'll see that a vital active recreation areas. A Vital Park system includes access to active recreation. Citywide, 79% of people live within a 10-minute walk to an athletic field, sport court, or skate park maintained by NYC Parks. This 91% grade that is right here in CB12, what that represents, everybody, is on the left column. All those items right there that make up great parks are part of that grade of 91%. And you can click around in here again on your own time. It takes a little time to sort of maneuver it and check out all the tabs. The full Vital Parks plan is also downloadable. It's about 7 pages. And really what this is a snapshot of how vital parks are to New York City, particularly since COVID. We've seen a rising need for parks related to families and seniors and kids and just wellness, mental and physical wellness, addressing the crisis of loneliness in our parks so that these parks have become real community spaces, even more so since COVID. Climate change and extreme heat, which we're working really to address much more so with the Mayor's Office Environmental Health with EDC, with activists out there. Declining life expectancy, so trying to get people out and about more. Our recreation unit really does that with a lot of the Shape Up New York City programs and other. And then the aging infrastructure that is a call for need in terms of additional funding. So essentially, when you go through this, you'll see that it's organized by 3 critical elements that we at NYC Parks are actively thinking about and discussing and trying to support at all times with community boards and advocates like yourselves, that the parks are clean and safe, that they're green and resilient, and that they're supported by engaged New Yorkers. So that includes everything in terms of those categories that you see on the left. So, you know, everything from a dog run to a community garden, to sports fields, to drinking fountains, to Parks Enforcement Patrol, to clean bathrooms. This also incorporates 2 new initiatives by the mayor and the governor, which is Let's Swim NYC, and also You Are in Luck, which is something that the borough president and the mayor have done. Cute little title, really public bathrooms. And Manhattan, NYC Parks has the majority of public restrooms across all 5 boroughs, and Manhattan's going to see 28 new renovated bathrooms coming. So take a look when you can and scroll through this, and I'm happy to answer any questions about our parks report tonight.
Okay, so there was a woman, her name is Anne, she's not here right now, but we do have a gentleman here. Sir, what is your name?
Damon Sebastian. Hello, Jen.
Hi, Damon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. I'm here with another few members of the community. Ms. Torres, her husband, who was previously a board member. They've been a staple in the community for well over 30 to 40 years. Mr. Davis and his wife, they have raised a family. They have numerous grandchildren that attend different activities in the Wright Brothers Playground at present. So these people, we would consider them staples in our area. We want to discuss the particulars about the 1.39 million that's allocated to a soccer ball court or field on the handball court, as far as the specifics, the dynamics, the architecture, with regards to not being opposed to soccer, but does it have anything to infringe on the 6 basketball courts that are right now, I would say, degenerating, or whatever the case may be. They've got grass growing, but we've got children. As you know, we got every denomination, every culture of kids coming in that park, which is heartfelt, whether they're Asian, Indian, white, black, everybody, Hispanic. We got so many little kids playing on those 6 basketball courts. That's the only problem that we have with that, along with all the holes and for the rest on the kiddie pool. So again, it's about maybe by the time the general meeting or whenever, can we be presented with the architectural layout of the soccer field, which was just overnight, just came up, sprouted up, 1,039,000. I know you already have 500,000 from Adriano, 500,000 from Carmen, 200,000 from Al Taylor. So you're only like $190,000 away from the project being ready to up and go.
Well,
if I'm not mistaken.
Hi, Damon. Yes, we talked about this before, and as you know, I'm working with you on Wright Brothers, and it's a priority to me. A key thing there that I'd shared with you that I'll share with the larger group tonight is that this is not a parks initiative. This wasn't funded by Carmen de la Rosa and Adriano Espaillat with the school. And so this is not a parks initiative. This is something that came about through sort of the school, the DOE side of things related to Wright Brothers Playground. I'm waiting for more information myself so I can learn more about it, as I told you on our phone call. And I definitely want to share that information with you once I have it. I've actually asked Steve Simon if he has information, particularly on the timeline related to this. What I will share with you, and I hope this is a little comforting, is that what I've heard so far is that this will only replace the handball court. This does not affect the basketball courts, and we'll continue to work with you on improving the basketball court and also with our borough crews unit to try to bring out more rat abatement. But this would be only replacing the handball court.
Thank you for that. We will be attending the general meeting and we will stay in touch. And I don't even expect Parks to be the financiers of the whole playground being renovated or anything. I mean, if we need to ask our local council people like Carmen Dealer Wilson, whatever, we need to all come to the table and come to some kind of agreement. And
well, I want
yeah.
Damon, I want to thank you because, when I began last July, you reached out and really have made a great effort in terms of talking with the electeds and looking at bringing us all together so that we can get on site and talk about the needs. So I think I definitely want to do that, and let's plan for that. And it might be a really good time to do that so that we can learn more while we're on site about this soccer initiative as well.
All right. I have an outside question real quick before we move on for you to some other things. The fact that you were saying that there's brush fire, cigarettes, and homeless and things and camps in all the different parks on occasion, what does a person do if they see a homeless encampment? Who do they contact?
Yes, great point. One of the things that is challenging is just signage and making sure people understand what they can do. Thank you for that question. You remind me, by the way, to add one thing before I answer your question, which is that if anybody sees fire hydrants that are running, wasting water, that's the same answer I'm going to give you, Damon, in terms of if you see, a homeless encampment, which is you call 311. You can also report 311 on your phone through the digital app. But 311 is very important because one, it gets it documented for the city. Two, the 311 folks route it to the right unit. Three, it gives ongoing documentation that can be referenced in terms of, let's say, rats, Damon. I know that some at Wright Brothers around the foliage, we've been seeing more rats across our parks in the borough. So 311 can also be used for rat reporting. This helps set the pattern and show that we need more support for whatever the issue is. For instance, next Wednesday, we have 2 homeless removals back to back at Highbridge Park. We are likely to be doing that again at Inwood Hill Park. Those 2 parks in particular, with their very forested, hidden natures, lend themselves well, particularly as the season gets colder, to homeless encampments. So yes, you can also, anybody who has, and I'm happy again to drop it in here, but if you have my phone number or email, you can send me a note. And then I'll make sure that our Parks Enforcement Patrol has that information. And depending on what the issue is, like a brush, a fire, then our PEP unit or me, we immediately notify FDNY, which was on site today at Highbridge, for instance.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Jamila, you said we should have a follow-up meeting. Is this in reference to this issue?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So, the councilwoman's office, what?
I have a question for Jen.
Okay, yes, Mr. Donia.
I have a quick question. The path that goes on the Henry Hudson Highway, and that it leads out onto Dyckman and Staff. Are they ever gonna make that an actual path? Because there's through Inwood Hill Park, there's a part that goes down and it kind of leads through there, but then there's a whole bunch of bushes and it goes on the highway. And then after that, we keep on walking down, it ends up going to the other side of Dyckman, the south side of Dyckman. But that whole area is closed. So I'm just curious if they're ever going to make that an actual walking path that just connects all the way around.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that because, one of the things, again, I've lived up here 18 years, but being now in parks, I really have seen some of the disconnection of some of our parks, like the zigzag behind J. Hood Wright that used to be Fort Washington Park, and now it's just a highway tangle. Or this site that you're mentioning right here, Danny, and hello, by the way, or some of or some of the High Bridge disconnections that we just walked last week, actually, me and Chris, along with a colleague, Max. We are addressing these, the dead end, the lower bike path, which dead ends. Like, we essentially have a lot of these on our list in terms of what we're hoping that we can address moving forward with the support of Carmen's office and the electeds, and even private individuals at times in terms of what we might be able to do with support there. So we are aware of it. The last thing I'll say too is that some of these sites are on our list for DOT. In terms of what we're trying to talk with Lyle about, but also a larger level in terms of what interagency approaches need to be for these strange, disconnected sites that lend themselves to people being lost, to trash, to dumping. Another one actually that now comes up to mind is 155th at Edgecombe. When I was running Jackie Robinson Park, that, right there where Jackie meets High Bridge is just a real horrible dumping site. And another one of these strange, and another one of these strange areas. So these are on our list for sure. It's going to take some time to work out the interagency needs and also, some of the funding needs.
Okay, cool. I only bring it up because I ran through it the other day and it was just like a tangled mess. I'll just say
It
that.
is. It is. Yes, it is.
All right.
Oh, and just so you know, these meetings they're on YouTube as well too.
Oh,
so
that is good to know.
So like you can ask the office for like a whole recording.
After the meeting, I'll get the entire thing.
Yeah, because I see you reporting it
mentioning the chats, and I don't have access to the chats.
through. I think through there you can get. Can you get chats like through YouTube, right?
Well,
say it again.
on the website.
I don't
Yes.
think that
Not through YouTube, through Zoom, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they do put this on,
in the minutes.
yeah, they do put the recordings on YouTube
Yeah,
under
yeah, because I saw you recording, so just for your awareness.
I just want to get the feed of everything and rehash everything that was said by everybody.
Cool.
That's the way to do it. Okay.
I wanted to ask something. Could I, Alexis?
Just a moment. I just wanted to make sure we have one other person here. Sir, are you part of this or? Okay, we got you. Okay, great. Barbara, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, Jana, this is related to, we were discussing accessibility. I had asked this be put on the agenda and I had submitted a picture via email to Alexis and everyone before the meeting concerning the accessibility to Fort Tryon Park through the 190th Street A-Train subway. That in other words, the steps that you have to take to get into the subway, then you take the elevator up, and then those steps that you have to take in order to get up to Fort Washington Avenue. Is there any discussion? Could you get back to us on what it would take to be able to have ramp access in order to get from the A-Train subway up to Fort Washington Avenue, and also those steps that are there to, get up from the subway? Because you can, get there once the elevator's of no use when all those steps are in the way. This would also be an issue for traffic and transportation.
Barbara, I have very good news for you. So you as always, you put your finger on the pulse there. So MTA, we are working with them due to the delay in congestion pricing. They are delayed in the work. But the good news is that is on the docket to happen. So MTA is going to be putting in an elevator there for accessibility. Where? Exactly where you're saying. When you come out of the 190th A, so that you do not have to take those steps. There will be an elevator up to Fort Washington Avenue. So we are waiting on the timing of that and also the plans for that. I believe MTA will be addressing CB12 once they have the go-ahead for their funding and timing. And I'll share something else that we're working on too, back to private funders. I'm working on some other accessibility improvements around Fort Tryon Park with private funding. And that are some handrails. So we're looking at, so we're looking at what we can do depending on the cost out. We're in the early stages of this to see what the cost would be for some of these handrails, prioritizing which ones could be funded by this private individual, and looking at the sequencing of that.
Okay, but also with that project, it's important to understand that there are steps inside the subway. So that, yes, getting from the elevator up to Fort Washington, fantastic. But if you inside the subway station, there are steps. For example, there is ramp from Bennett Avenue up to part of there. Then you must step up to get by the token booth. We still call them token booths. And so it's of no use. You can't get to the elevator. In other words, from Bennett to the elevator, there are steps. So there has to be ramping there.
I can't speak for MTA, but I'm happy to connect you with the contact I work with in MTA. He's wonderful. He's helped me solve a number of issues, including cleaning out the MTA building at Fort Tryon Park.
Okay.
So I'm happy to connect you with him. His name's Alberto.
All right. I mean, I think someone really just has to walk it and see it, and then we'll see that we won't be able to get from the subway up without some more ramping. That's my point. I think it can be done, but it needs a little bit more, so it should be included in the project. But kudos that this is going to happen, and that it's on my list. It's on my list, as you said. I'm always there. Okay, that's great.
And Barbara, was that, and that was the issue that you were, that you referenced in the email earlier?
Yeah, and why don't we forward that picture? I'll forward that picture to Jana, and she'll see that. Okay.
Okay, wonderful. And yes, we have a question from our board, one of our committee members.
Hi, I just want to know if we're able to make those changes if we already have a green light from MTA.
Well, my understanding, and again, I'm happy to provide Alberto's information, and I don't know if the CB12 Transportation Committee is talking with him already. So I don't work for MTA, but I can give his information. What they've shared with us is that the congestion pricing delay has delayed when they can do this.
And please introduce yourself. This is another one of our new committee members. So please let everybody know who you are.
I'm Crystal Woodley. Hi, everybody. I'm on Parks, and I'm also on Youth and Education. Those are my two standing committees. What happened?
Because you did the work.
Oh, I'm a case manager for a local Bronx shelter. My church is St. Luke AME Church. I'm 152nd in Amsterdam. I don't know what else to
No,
say.
I wanted to tell you that you work for a shelter. You're doing good work. So I wanted people to know that. All right. Anybody from yes, sir.
Well, if Jana's still there, I'd like to offer a tidbit of information for you to juggle with. There is a walking corridor for pedestrians that goes from Amsterdam to St. Nicholas. It's always been there since around 1960. It's a sidewalk that used to be a drive-through street. It does not belong to the Board of Education, does not belong to Parks. DOT says it doesn't belong to them. And NYCHA on the left borderline, which is now independently privately owned, doesn't say that they own it either. So you have a whole one block that's completely dark. If you're going to have soccer field, basketball, even people that's just walking home at night. What I was going to say is maybe you could speak with Mr. Blackwood, Lyle of DOT or something, and people could come to some kind of, I don't know, conclusion about lighting. To Amsterdam.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Go ahead.
You said St. Nicholas to Amsterdam. What's the cross street?
It's 156th Street, adjacent to the Wright Brothers
So
playground.
156.
Right, but it doesn't belong to the school, it don't belong to the park, and it doesn't belong to, DOT said it's not theirs. It's not even on their map. I don't know how.
You know,
And NYCHA says they don't own it either.
Damon,
Yeah, go ahead, John. Or-
sorry. You know, remember we were talking, I reached out to NYCHA about the rat issue that was happening at the NYCHA yard there.
Right.
I'll reach out to that guy, Michael, and see if he can give me sort of the details on that. So I'll start on that because I'm so glad you brought it up because you know, it is a street in the sense that a car can go down it, but it's also, as you know, an active play area for the game tables and people who are coming in and out of the playground. So I really would love to know myself who owns that. So I will work on getting an answer for this.
Okay, all right, good talk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the community have any questions? No? Anybody from town?
Just when they find out, who owns that and things like that, is it in something maybe to revamp it and bring it up to date also?
No, because we need lights there.
Yeah, they need lights, it's very dark. That whole thing needs to be revamped, and it does share a section where they take out the trash.
Yeah.
And they, are not very cautious about putting up signs when they do it. So you can have the dumpsters and the people come and pick it up and there's just no caution sign. The sidewalk is very uneven over there, and we're talking about kids from, I want to say it's PS 28. They can fall down too. Elderly people, what is that, Bethune?
Yeah.
Right around the corner, they can fall down. Anybody just walking by.
Cars that make go from St. Nicholas to Amsterdam.
I'm sorry, what is the address again?
I'm putting it in the chat, by the way, because it's not a real street. It's like a walkthrough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like the walkthrough that, you know, us at Parks, occasionally we drive our Parks car there because it's the only way we can get through. But it's the walkthrough between Amsterdam and St. Nicholas that runs right next to Wright Brothers Playground.
Right, exactly.
On record, it was actually a street up until around the year that PS 28 was built.
Wow.
The school caught fire.
That
So
makes
that was
sense.
1960 or something of that nature.
Wow. Wow.
That's right.
And that's, you know, hi Crystal, nice meeting you. So once we find out who owns this, that will help a lot in terms of like who needs to be working on, you know, the safety measures, the lighting, etc. So if it's owned by the private developer now, who I believe owns that NYCHA site, then they're responsible for it.
Danny Bonilla?
I love New York Zola, just because you can see who owns what. So wherever it says like that lot right there, it says the owner is ABM Owner LLC, which is a public authority, state or federal. And whatever that building is, the Bethune Gardens, it's part of that it's part of that lot. So it's like a L shape, and then the lot next to it is the Department of Education. So
in other words, they're trying to say that the building that was the senior citizen.
yeah, wherever that's on Amsterdam, that's like the people who own that part of that lot, and then the other lot is the Department of Education.
But to be truthful and to be technical, there's a dividing line, that corridor.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like this whole street right there.
That corridor.
So that whole lot is allotted to these people.
Well, let's just think on our own terms without the map. That was one time a street for cars.
Yeah.
It was paved over. I wouldn't put that on Board of Education, and I wouldn't put it on that ABM LLC either.
ABM
That's
Owner
yet
LLC.
to be discovered who wants to take, accountability. And now, like I said, Mr. Blackwood of DOT needs to be involved in these type of conversations.
Yeah, like
most definitely. I got a feeling that they're the ones that's going to have to.
no, I hear you, and I'm only speaking as of once, like whoever is there, like it's gonna point to something, and it's pointing to that at the moment. So it's a decent start.
Let's get the ball rolling.
Yeah. I'd like to stay involved with that. And also, I'm open for the conversation of all, like if they actually chopped up the lot, hey, you own A, I own B, we need to come together. And who's gonna do what and where?
Yeah,
Because we're talking
need
about
more
kids.
lines. We can't have
Mhm.
cars going from St. Nicholas to Amsterdam. I mean, that's just a tragedy waiting to happen.
I would agree. And it has to be in the safety of the kids, the
Right.
seniors, and anybody walking by.
Agreed. Thank you, everybody, for that was an important topic and it's one to stay on top of, which is, so thank you all. There is a Miss Nadia, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say your last name, Nagun, I believe you had a question?
I do. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Hi, so I'm Nadia Nguyen. I've lived in Inwood for about 6 years now. I have two young kids, a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. I've spoken at a few community board meetings about an issue I've had with cyclists starting last spring, yeah. So my son, he was 3 at the time, and he actually got run over by 2 cyclists in the span of like a month. One time run over by a cyclist while he was on his scooter in Loftus Playground. And then it happened again right across from the Javits Playground, or actually not across, sorry, on that street at around 190th and what's the street? Fort Washington. And so in both those cases, he happened to be wearing his helmet, and so thankfully he was okay, but it was really scary. One was in the playground, one was on the sidewalk. And so since then, I think everyone's kind of noticed, delivery bikes and cyclists occasionally will use the sidewalk. One problem we're having now is, so we have to get to school, and we like to go through Fort Tryon Park around the Ann Loftus area. So I live on Payson, and we'll walk through the park to his school. And there's been a problem, I think, with cyclists using those pedestrian paths, but it's gotten a lot worse now that the greenway's closed off. And, even the other day, there was like a woman who was on her e-bike going through the park. She came in the entrance near Payson Avenue by the playground and was going pretty fast and then started to go up the hill. And I was like, excuse me, like, e-bikes are not allowed in the park. And she told me, this is the detour. She was a little bit rude, she's like, thank you for your concern. This is the detour. But that's not the only time, like every day when we go to school, we see bikes. It's very scary for my child. But it's also just dangerous. Like a lot of kids use that path to get to school. And now that it's dark, it's really scary for us to come home because they go really fast. They're often quiet. And so they kind of come out of nowhere. I looked the other day at the sign. So when you enter the park at like kind of the main Fort Tryon Park where the city bikes are parked, where there's a subway entrance, at the intersection of like Broadway and Dykeman and Riverside, that big entrance, there is a sign there that says no bikes. But at the other entrances, the one by Payson, the one on Arden, there actually is no sign on that, on the big board outside that says no bikes. And even, I don't even know if anyone looks at those signs, but in the park, there's just kind of no indication that where bikes are allowed or where they're not allowed. And I totally understand the dilemma that cyclists are in. I know it's scary to bike on Riverside and Broadway, and their cars are double parked, people are really going really fast. But I'm just wondering, can there be some sort of middle ground? Because the current situation is just really dangerous, and it's very scary for us. And my son, he has a horn on his scooter, he wears a yellow safety vest, but like, I feel like we're doing everything that we can do. And if we can't go on the sidewalk, we go in the park. And if we can't go in the park, then I don't know where to go.
I'm sorry.
Just a
Oh, go ahead.
moment. Jana, and then Tracy, and then Crystal. Go ahead.
First of all, I'm sorry about this, because I totally know what you mean. I myself have been hit by one of the cyclists. Two, we do have motorized, the no bikes, no motorized vehicle, no motorized, what is it, scooters? I can't remember the exact verbiage right now, but we do have those on order for Fort Tryon Park so that we can put them in other places. Third, the woman was wrong. The bike to detour does not go through Fort Tryon Park. Actually, DOT, we're waiting to connect with DOT related to the signage for the bike detour. The signage is pretty much up from the last time that the Greenway was closed, but it is just really hard to see the signage and pick it out with all of the other signage that is cluttering the view. That does not help. And 5, we have a tremendous problem with Google Maps. So one of the things that we've experienced, particularly with the delivery drivers on bikes and motorized vehicles, is that Google Maps is sending them through Fort Tryon Park like they're roads. And in some cases, the delivery workers I've talked to, they don't speak English or read English, and they're just following the map, and they had no idea that they were doing something wrong. And we're trying to work with Google Maps. Our commissioner is actually working on this with our commissioner of operations, because this is a large issue across our parks in all 5 boroughs, with aggressive biking and e-bikes and fast moving, wheeled vehicles. And also the deliveristas unknowingly, in most cases, driving through our parks. So thank you for telling her, because one of the things we do need is for folks who see this to gently ask that people get off their bike and walk it. At Fort Tryon Park, the way I've seen the bike path that runs along Bonifant Cafe when you come entrance at Margaret Corbin Circle at 192nd and Fort Wash. That's the only place, if you see the bike path, the marked bike path is the only place they're supposed to be on bikes.
Thank you. I mean, that was my understanding. I have tried, saying it. I'm with my kid. I try all sorts of ways. I mean, I've been sworn at. My kid's been sworn at. Like neighbors say, it's a dangerous thing that you're doing. So I try. I've talked to the third. I've gone to lots of meetings, and so the 34th precinct says, well, all you can do is call 311. But I don't want to bug them because it's not that kind of emergency. So I'm wondering if you do signage, can it be something that's actually in the path, not, I don't know, like the ones that in the, you know what I mean? Like the ones that are kind of in the middle, like the sticks that kind of stick up to make it kind of more obvious.
I will share with you, I can't answer that because our commissioner of operations, he's over signage, and that includes where signs can go. So I don't have the answer for that. Again, this is a chronic issue that we're experiencing. And since COVID, people have been really, really aggressive and somewhat violent. These bikers, we're also experiencing similar issues with dog owners who just feel entitled to have their dogs off leash. So it's a chronic problem. And unfortunately, we can put more signs up, but I hate to say it, most people don't read the signs. And even if they do, they don't care.
And if I can oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so we'll keep doing what we can. I feel like this is sort of takes a village effort on all fronts to try to address.
Thank you. And I just wanted to put in one more plug. I understand that there is, a movement to try to have safer biking paths, including potentially using part of 9A. And so I think those are really, creative options. And I really do understand like the plight of bikers, and, the delivery workers are just trying to do their job most of the time. And so I'm not against bikers.
One last idea that you raised to mind is that I think, maybe Alexis with CB12, this is something that we could look at, even with the transportation committee, perhaps, is sort of a joint effort where maybe we reach out to Bike NYC, maybe we reach out to, the delivery. I think the deliveristas have like a union or something, but maybe there's a concerted effort here, back to the village idea, where we can kind of join efforts to see about education, where we can talk about, working together to improve the mapping, and we can, work on maybe joint signage. So I think it's going to take a variety of efforts.
Thank you both. Thank you. Tracy had a question, and Crystal.
I wanted to bring up, this is also an issue, as I'm sure you know, for High Bridge Park, for people going over the bridge, but which actually does have a bike, the bike and the walkers are supposed to share it, but because it's sort of used as a cut through to get to the Bronx, people are really speeding in there. And actually, that was my comment about figuring out, is there a way that we can sort of cross-pollinate with traffic about whether it's about putting speed bumps in there or something, just to sort of, people shouldn't be going 30, 40 miles back there.
You're so
So-
right. You're so right, Tracy. And part of the, and hello, by the way, and part of the problem we have is, of course, we don't have a way, right now, you guys, if we're lucky, we have 4 Parks Enforcement Patrol on duty above 125th Street, river to river, to the end of the island.
Jeez.
4. And that's if we're lucky. Usually it's 2. So again, part of the problem here is, you can have signs up, but there's nobody to catch them. There's nobody to stop them. There's nobody to find them. So, to your point, Tracy, one of the things that I'd love to have on the High Bridge, because I'm well aware of this issue too, is I'd love to have a speed camera where, but then again, what does that do? Because people have, they either don't have a license plate or they have false license plates. So it's very, very challenging to address this.
Just to sort of follow up on that, the other, I'm not trying to encourage additional policing, but the other answer would be right outside the park at 160 of 5th Street to ask for an officer there, because, basically the entrance or the exit on the Bronx side and the Manhattan, well, we're Manhattan, but for the CB side, I don't know. Speed bump, something. My wee boy almost got hit too, so.
There's a lot to do. Okay, now Crystal?
I just want to piggyback off of what you guys are saying, Tracy, as well. I'd like to be looped in on that between speed bumps, working with speed cameras, having the push for enforcement, but also the push for fines as well in increments. I think if somebody has a hefty fine, the first time you do it, the second time you do it, the third time, hey, this is what happens. People think twice about, going 100 miles an hour on those bikes. A lot of times they shouldn't even have them. So.
Well, I think, I wonder if this is something that we want to look at, you guys, is, bringing together the Parks and Cultural Affairs Committee with Transportation Committee, for instance, and seeing how we can, address this together, because the fact is, for us at Parks, we're not transportation and we're not police. So, this is our challenge in terms of what we can do versus can't do. And Crystal, I would like fines. I'd like that for dogs, the dog owners as well. Yeah. So, but once again, you have to have somebody there to see it and catch it and levy the fine.
Okay.
And I just want to mention though, too, I know people say, oh, 311, but paper trail is your friend, documentation is your friend. So, I always say, even though, 311's not doing anything, get the app, write it in the app, have a record. Every time you see it, put it in that app, have that record, so that when you come to these meetings or you go to a general meeting, you can say, here's everything I've seen, here's everything I've reported. Because even though, yes, it's on the record here, if we do 311 and report it to the proper channels, it just makes our argument bigger, better, faster, more.
You know what they should do?
Go ahead, Danny, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say that normally a lot of those apps, they're linked up to Google. If you start taking away their pay to going through the parks and all that stuff, those people driving the bikes, they definitely won't go through the parks ever again. I wouldn't know how that you could even start a conversation with that. Where it's just okay, you have this delivery driver going through the park and all that stuff, and because they're going through the parks, on the map it shows it, so we'll dock away however much of your pay, but then you would have to go into the private companies like Uber Eats, DoorDash and all those people, and you would have to figure that kind of stuff out, because if there's one thing that people don't like is having their paychecks or just any kind of money going into their pocket taken away from them, you know? That sucks that a lot of these guys are just like going through there and like thinking it's like the public highway. I get so aggravated every time they just like whiz by through me, and it takes a lot for me to not have to pick one of these guys. I do my best. I have not.
Thank you for not hitting them. We want you safe and sound. Two, you know, I just want to reiterate, you guys, that in most cases when I've stopped some of these deliveristas, they don't know that they're doing something wrong because Google Maps shows our walking paths as roads. So they are being sent through the park by Google Maps as if these walking paths, hybrid, as if that's a road. So it's not their fault. They're following Google Maps. We have to go to Google Maps and get them to fix this. And that's a huge endeavor, obviously dealing with Google.
Maps knows better because every time
No, they don't.
like they
No,
they have it, they have like an option on their thing where just say walking path, driving path, bike path, and all that stuff. But I do get it. I do get where you're coming from, you know. I understand.
Yeah. So, and the last thing I was just going to say to kind of, you know, add to your point, Alexis, and then I'm, is that the data back to Vital Parks, please do tool around in there because that tool is your data about parks. So that tool, when you go in there, you get to see, you know, for CB12, what do we have, you know, in CB12, what are we missing? What do we need to advocate for? And what do we not have that other community boards have? So, you know, that's basically, Alexis, I just wanted to reiterate and thank you because that Vital Parks tool is all about giving the data in a transparent way to everybody 5-borough wide for parks investment and where things are currently at.
Sorry, can I make two really
Sorry,
quick points?
Yes, I'm sorry, but we have other people. For questions, so I have to give them the opportunity to speak as well. Kaya, go ahead. Kaya Samarkis.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Kaya.
Hi. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Sorry, I missed the last one. So there's a question in the Q&A for Jana, and I kind of think it dovetails really nicely. Someone asked if it's possible to convert some of the the standalone areas, like the funky, you know, the little zigzag near J. Hood Wright, or that little triangle off of Staff and Dykeman, either into a standalone part or kind of, I guess, lump it with a larger park. Sort of daylighting those areas the way that they daylit the traffic circle around Margaret Corbin would probably help a lot with that kind of enforcement of not having e-bikes or motorized vehicles that are not parks vehicles in that area, right? You see it, people are engaging with it and the same way they would as a park and just saying, no, that's not how we do this here. But it's kind of this no man's land of jurisdiction. How can you actually use it? The sight lines are sort of terrible. I know that little triangle very, very well. And you can't really see anything. And I think it encourages this kind of behavior that leads to, you know, traffic accidents, kids getting hit by bikes, but it also just kind of a sense of neglect and disuse and misuse. So I mean, I agree with what this person says, and I'm wondering what that process would look like if that's something Parks is interested in doing. Do you want another park? You could use another park, right, Jana? You don't have enough, I think. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
That was funny. And Kaya, before I answer real quickly, just a shout out to Friends of Inwood Hill and Kaya and Chris and Barry and the whole Friends of Inwood Hill, because last weekend we had a fantastic event, or the weekend before rather, with the Lenape Center planting beach plums, which is something that Friends of Inwood Hill had been advocating for separately on their own for some time. So please know that I forgot to mention that I'll be updating you on our initiative with Lenape Center as we work on the next initiative with them and our partnership. But please know that the beach plums are planted along the shore right above the Nature Center. And yes, Kaya, you know, to your point, just to illuminate it a bit more, absolutely, that's what we're looking at, is to see how they can be redesigned. It's just very complicated, particularly when it involves many agencies. So for instance, the zigzag back behind J. Hood, which used to be Fort Washington Park and look spectacular, and it makes me cry when I see it now. That highway tangle, that's city DOT, that's state DOT, that's Port Authority. So this is the challenge, is that we, in many cases, are working with Amtrak, we're working with DOT, where we have to work with all these different agencies to address the tangle. And then we have to find funding, and then it has to be designed. And once the funding is secured, the design process moves forward, and that's where community input can come into play.
Zigzag Live.
Just a note, I did see that question, and this is something that Chair Farrar and I talked about. When you were putting a question in the chat, we will not answer it if it says anonymous. Please put your name in the chat if you want your question answered. You had another question or
Oh,
another
I just wanted
statement?
to piggyback off of what he was saying. A lot of times when people sign up to be a courier in the beginning, they might be signing up to be a walking courier. Then they run and get a bike, and that's why it could be giving them the walking avenues and ways to go when they're getting these e-bikes
Interesting.
after the fact.
Possibly.
This is all really great information, and we have it in the minutes, and when we go to either the executive committee and then the general committee, we will mention this, and then we can work together with travel and transportation. Having said all that, any old business? No, and no new business? I have no. I have, that was something separate. Having said that, no additional announcements.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion, who would like?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being part of the process, and rock on.
Rock on.
Wonderful. Love that.
30 minutes earlier.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.